and welcome back to another episode of the Tea with Tina podcast. Today's episode, we are chatting about the best supplement out there and why it's creatine. Where this episode stem from is creatine is actually a new supplement for me. I've always known about it. I knew it was a good thing, but like most people, I'm like, I don't need that. Why would it be good for me? You know, one, there's a lot of stigma around creatine. There's a couple rumors that float around like creatine can bloat you if you're a female. You hold on to a ton of water when you take creatine. It's meant for people who lift heavy all the time. It's meant for guys. And that's kind of what I thought. I was like, only the big bodybuilders or powerlifters take creatine. Like, I lift, but I don't really need it. Well, this changed when I was getting back into lifting because I was pretty much a year off of lifting, hip injury, Hashimoto's, thyroid diagnosis, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to get back into things. So I was slowly building up, and I would say I was working at maybe a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 effort. RPE, rate of perceived exertion. So nothing too crazy. Like, I would go through the movement, I'd feel a little bit of burn. It wasn't too easy. But it wasn't like crazy hard. And I would find myself a couple hours later, I felt good after my workout, but a couple hours later, I was drained, okay? It felt like I ran a marathon, and then the next day, I was exhausted and super sore, like really sore, and I get that you're a little bit sore in the beginning, but this was maybe 2 months into regularly working out at least 3 to 4 days a week, and I was like tender to the touch. I was waking up stiff and sore, and I couldn't sit on the toilet, and like, this is not normal. If you're experiencing this, you really only get soreness in the very beginning, and the reason that you get sore is because your body's adapting to a new stimulus. So if you change things up or you do something new, that's when you're going to experience soreness, or if you're not getting really good recovery, you're probably going to be that sore also. So I was like, I'm not getting good recovery, but my sleep was on point. I love to get at least 8 hours of sleep, and I sleep through anything. My husband will tell you. I do not wake up easily. I was drinking plenty of water. I was hitting my protein goals. I don't know what it was. So I was like, well, maybe I need like a recovery supplement. I've taken amino acids before, BCAAs, and you may have heard some iffy things about them. I don't think they're terrible, but it's probably not the best bang for your buck. They're amino acids, which are basically the building blocks of protein, and they're supposed to help with recovery and muscle soreness. Well, what I opted for instead was creatine, which really, it's a Legion product. It's called Recharge, and it's actually creatine, monohydrate, and that's a processing method to make the particles more fine, so it's not clumpy and all that fun stuff, and it has some aminos in there to help with your recovery. Okay, so that's what's in there. So I was like, let me give this a shot. And guys, let me tell you, one, the taste is amazing. It tastes like fruit punch. Well, that's the flavor I got. I chugged that thing down like it's a regular drink. I love my drinks. And that was good, but the recovery, the effects, I swear, I did a leg day and I took creatine because you're supposed to take it right after your workout. You can have a little bit of a window, you don't have, you like won't not see results if you take it like a couple hours later. But I woke up and there was no soreness, and I was like, I went kind of hard in that workout. So you're supposed to take creatine every day because it does build up in your system, even on rest days. So it does take some time to build up in your system because it's small dosages. And some people even recommend like front loading with it. This Legion product in particular did not recommend that. It just said, start like normal. So that's what I did. And that's what I noticed over a couple days. Like, I noticed my strength start to improve. I was pushing heavier weights with relative ease. I felt like my muscles were fuller. I was seeing more definition. And like I said, my recovery and performance was overall better. It was amazing. Like, I was like, this feels like I'm on steroids. Like, it feels too good to be true. And the funny part is that creatine is actually the most widely researched supplement out there. It is considered the safest supplement out there. So, and it's funny because so many people kind of are hesitant towards it. And I think there's probably like some crappy ones out there as far as ingredient quality. It's not creatine itself. It might be the way that they process it or how they dose it. As always, Legion uses, clinically dosed dosages. They use the purest ingredients. They're third-party tested. On their website, you can check them out. They will actually reference multiple published research studies and medical articles, and they'll tell you why they used that dosage. Like, we used 5 grams because in these studies it showed that it gave you optimal performance, and they're really good about saying, like, hey, if you take this and this, you're not going to overdose on anything, nothing's going to like mix and be bad. You can usually rotate all their supplements and be fine. So, and I've never had any negative side effects with their supplements. And I've had some bad side effects with other companies, which is why I stick with them, because they have not let me down yet. So I love their stuff. Definitely check that out. Okay. Shameless promo. I am a Legion athlete because I freaking love their stuff. I was like, can I please support your products because I love them? And I would recommend them to people anyways, which I was. So if you do want to try them out and it's your first time, if you use code TINAW, you will get 20% off your first order. If you're a returning customer and you use the code TINAW, you'll get double points towards your next Legion purchase. Okay. But yeah, so let's kind of get into some of the things about creatine. I do have my notes here. Okay. I just kind of gave you a little overview. But as far as creatine goes, did you know it was first discovered in 1832? Fast forward to today, and it's a staple in many fitness enthusiasts' routine. But why? So, creatine is like your muscle's personal power plant. We're talking ATP, energy production, and muscle contractions. It's the unsung hero that keeps you pushing through those tough workouts. And it is so true. The fact that it helps with muscle strength is huge. I have not seen a supplement work this well. Like pre-workout, yes, it can technically help with strength and endurance because it gives you that energy boost. But this is true. Like, it gets stored in your muscles and it's going to help you with that strength. Like, I notice a noticeable difference pretty quickly with this. Okay. Now, creatine does come in various forms though: monohydrate, ethyl ester, and HCl. I'm going to break down these differences and help you choose the one that suits you the best. Creatine and performance. We talked about performance a little bit, how it can help with your endurance and things like that. And it does. It can boost your endurance. It can make you lift heavier weights. It can improve your recovery time. Just like me, I virtually am never sore. And that was a really big issue for me with my thyroid and stuff before I got diagnosed. And before I was medicated, I was drained just all day. It didn't matter if I slept 10 hours a day. I would just feel exhausted. And I would say all around now, I just feel normal. Like, I feel like how I did before I had any issues. I'm just like, wow, I can just, like, if I have an extra stressful day or I need to push through something, I don't have to worry anymore if I'm going to crash and burn. That was ultimately my fear, and I felt like I would sit back in and be afraid to ever push my body beyond like very minimal limits, and because I didn't want to burn out. But now I can confidently push my body a little bit, and obviously we shouldn't do this all the time, but if I need to, my body can handle that. But another cool benefit that I've been seeing popping up even more is the enhanced cognitive function. So yes, creatine does help with brain function. They've actually even recommended that older people, 55 and over, take creatine daily. So again, you don't need to take this if you're not working out. You could take it enhances your brain function. And I mean, maybe, I was gonna say, I did have a really bad issue with brain fog. Listen guys, when I had before I was diagnosed with my thyroid stuff, doing my podcasts were so hard. It hurt my brain because I do these freeform, and I would remember that I would be talking and it's like, I don't even know what would happen. My mouth would move faster than my brain and I wouldn't know what word I was gonna say next. So it was really, really hard for me to record podcasts. All other things, like I would just lose what I was saying in the middle of saying it. So it is much better now, for sure. Now, as far as myths, the one I was talking about was water retention, and as far as Legion, at least, that was my personal biggest concern. I have an issue with water retention in general. I've chatted about this before. It's definitely gotten better now that I got medicated with my thyroid, but with any hormonal imbalances, and technically you can consider a hormonal imbalance I put that in air quotes, like, for my ladies, on your menstrual cycle, right? Before you have your period, you are bloated and you hold on to water because your hormones are changing. So anytime our hormones change, we're more prone to that water retention. And like I said, I just would get puffy and watery, and I was really frustrated with that. When I was going through a lot of my issues, because I felt like I was working out so hard and I had muscle under there, but it didn't look like I did. And I wasn't as defined as I wanted to be because I was puffy and inflamed and watery. So that's what forced me to rest and ultimately go on to my journey. And it's crazy. Like, I feel so much leaner now. I never felt fat. It was just like I felt puffy, right? And I can just see a lot more definition easier now, especially in the abdominal region. It's crazy. It's like night and day. With the wateriness, they, on Legion's website, said that due to updated modern methods of processing the creatine monohydrate, at least that variant, because there are a couple different variations of creatine, they claim that this is the best and safest one. The processing method prevents your body holding on to water. So, and I was reading all the reviews. There's tons of reviews, especially from women, because I figure in my head, if guys want to get bigger and bulkier and put on more muscle, when they hold on to water, that kind of works in their favor. But for females, it's a little bit different, aesthetic wise, right? That can make us look not so flattering. So I was looking at girls in particular, and none of them complained about the bloating. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And I have had no issues with wateriness or bloating. All right, so that about wraps up the basics of creatine. I know this was kind of a short episode, but I did want to put it out there. It's totally safe. You got to ask your doctor about breastfeeding out there. You know, it kind of becomes personal for anybody breastfeeding. I don't know medication wise. Again, that's something that's going to be very individualized. So if you have a special circumstance, definitely talk to your doctor or do some research and read some research articles to be sure, to make sure you're comfortable with it. But for the most part, this supplement is great. There's really no downsides to it. Really, anybody can take this. It probably would benefit somebody most who is strength training a couple days a week and just wants to feel better, have better recovery, have a little bit more muscle and strength, endurance, and some brain gains. So let me know if you have any questions about creatine in the comments below, or your experience with creatine for those of you listening on YouTube. Those on the podcast, thank you for tuning in. You can always shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I'd love to chat. And until next time, I think that's all I got. So have a great rest of your week, and bye for now.